Today is Tuesday, September 10th. We'll explain how a claim about Hurricane Dorian has now led to an investigation, and what to know about airline pilots on strike today. Plus, what to expect from Apple's big iPhone reveal, and how Amazon wants you to pay with just a wave of your hand. Welcome to the Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. We start today with a new federal investigation that all started with a claim about Hurricane Dorian. It turned into a dispute between weather forecasters and President Trump. We'll have more on the investigation in a moment, but here's what happened first. The Washington Post reports while Hurricane Dorian was moving toward the East Coast last week, President Trump insisted the storm had a high chance of hitting Alabama. He tweeted about it, saying Alabama, quote, would most likely be hit harder than anticipated. He also appeared to show an altered map. It looked like someone had used a Sharpie to change Dorian's path, making it look like Alabama could be hit. That made some meteorologists mad, because they say the forecast actually showed Alabama was pretty much in the clear. So the National Weather Service in Birmingham, Alabama, set the record straight on Twitter, writing Alabama, quote, would not see any impacts from Dorian. But that's when things got even more tense. First, the federal agency known as NOAA, that oversees the National Weather Service, sent out an unsigned statement that seemed to side with the president and contradict its own scientists. The New York Times cites sources who say the Trump administration, specifically the Commerce Department, had threatened NOAA employees' jobs unless they did this. The administration says that's not true. Either way, NOAA's statement is under investigation now by a couple of different people. NOAA's own acting chief scientist says he's now looking into whether the agency violated policies and ethics by backing Trump. He called it political and even a danger to public safety. And the director at the National Weather Service also agrees. And that's not all. The Times reports an inspector general that inspects the activity of the Commerce Department is also now reviewing this, saying NOAA and the Weather Service need to have scientific integrity. At the same time, President Trump still says he did not make a mistake with his warning for Alabama. Stay tuned for what, if anything, comes from these investigations. The U.S. Coast Guard rescued all 4 crew members who were trapped inside a capsized cargo ship for more than 36 hours. All 4 were taken to a hospital but said to be in good condition. The AP reports the large ship flipped and caught fire over the weekend off the coast of Georgia. The Coast Guard first rescued 20 other people, but 4 of the crew members were stuck inside, with the bottom half of the boat sticking out of the water. The AP reports the cargo ship had thousands of cars in it and was headed to Baltimore for the delivery when it tipped over. Investigators are still trying to figure out why it capsized. As of today, British lawmakers are now on a 5-week suspension, with the deadline for Brexit right around the corner. And they're no closer to coming up with a Brexit deal. Lawmakers did make it clear yesterday they must have some deal in place before the UK leaves the European Union. It's officially law now that not having a deal is not an option. That was a disappointment for the new Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, and he's facing 2 more defeats as Prime Minister now. The BBC reports a snap election for a new parliament that he wanted was denied, and now if they can't all agree on a deal soon, it's looking like Johnson might have to ask the EU for a deadline extension again. Brexit was already pushed back to the October 31st deadline, but that still might not be enough time. To be continued. British Airways is telling customers not to go to the airport, not today. For the second day in a row, the airline is canceling most of its flights. Its pilots are on strike, demanding better pay. NPR reports pilots say they've taken pay cuts in the past to help the company through hard times, but now that things are going well, they deserve to be paid more. British Airways did offer pilots a raise, but they turned it down, saying the company is not willing to negotiate. The Wall Street Journal reports 200,000 travelers have been impacted by this so far, and another strike is planned for September 27th. The airline is allowing people to rebook flights or get a refund on the British Airways website. 2 investigations to tell you about. First, the FDA says the e-cigarette company Juul ignored the law. The Wall Street Journal reports the Food and Drug Administration called out the company in 2 letters, saying Juul was out of line when it said vaping is safer than traditional cigarettes. There's actually no scientific evidence to back that up. Also, Juul is accused of directly targeting kids through social media. And remember, vaping is now considered an epidemic among teens. So what's the next step? Juul has to answer a bunch of questions from the FDA within 2 weeks. Juul says it's cooperating. Also, there's a new investigation into Google. and 50 state attorneys general are behind this. It's over possible antitrust violations. Or in other words, they'll work to find out if Google has become too big, with too much control over prices and consumer data, and if Google is leaving no room for competition in the market. CNBC reports 48 states, the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, are involved in this investigation. California and Alabama are the only two states not taking part. And this is just one of several investigations into Google and other big tech companies. In fact, there's another investigation into Facebook now for similar reasons. The New York Attorney General is leading that one, and several other states have joined in. So what could all of these investigations actually lead to? The outcome is not clear yet, but it could potentially mean companies are forced to be friendlier to their rivals or even break up certain parts of their businesses. CBS News quotes a Google executive who defends the company, saying Google is a top spender on research and innovation that ultimately helps America. More news ahead, but let's take a quick break to thank today's sponsor, Care of. Care of is a subscription service that delivers vitamins and supplements customized to your specific health goals and needs. It all starts with a fun online quiz that gets some info from you, like how much sleep do you get, are you looking for more energy, and do you think you need more support for things like hair and skin? You then get a personalized plan, and the whole process just takes 5 minutes. And I like that you get scientifically backed data along with each recommendation. Plus, your vitamins then arrive at your door in these cute daily packs, so it's not only convenient, it also makes it really easy to remember to take those vitamins. Oh, and Care of now offers protein powders in tubs or individual packets for busy people like us who are always on the go. So give it a try. The Newsworthy listeners can get 25% off your first Care of order. Just go to takecareof.com and enter the code Newsworthy. Again, get 25% off your first order by going to takecareof.com and using that code Newsworthy. Now back to the news. Today's the day Apple is expected to unveil its latest iPhone and other upgraded devices. Here's what to expect from Apple's big annual event, at least based on reports and rumors so far. Cnet says Apple will likely announce 3 new iPhone models with some variation of names like the iPhone 11, 11 Pro or Max, and 11R. The phones will likely have better cameras, faster processors, and Apple's newest software. Apple may also release a few new Apple Watch models, new iPads, and a 16-inch MacBook Pro laptop. Stay tuned for all the details during the event today, and of course, we'll have all the highlights for you right here tomorrow. Apple always streams the event live online, by the way, but this year, and for the first time ever, Apple will also stream it live on YouTube, which it's never done before since YouTube is owned by its rival, Google. The event starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Coming soon from Volkswagen, a brand new logo and a new electric car. Let's start with the car. It's called the ID3, and TechCrunch says it's the first model in VW's new all-electric ID brand, part of a plan to sell 1 million electric vehicles by the year 2025. This first new model has a battery that will last for more than 200 miles, and it also charges quickly. The special edition of the car comes with a panorama, tilting glass roof, and LED headlights that have so-called eyelids that flutter when the driver is getting close to a parked car. But at least for now, the ID3 will only be sold in Europe. VW is expected to reveal a different electric model for North America by the end of next year. As for the new logo, it looks a lot like the original, but it's two-dimensional now. CNN says the new logo isn't really about a new look, but it's more about the future. The company wants to move as far away as possible from the emissions cheating scandal it was involved in. Amazon has a lot of job openings, 30,000 to be exact. CBS News reports it's the most Amazon has ever had at one time, and the company wants to fill the jobs by next year. So look out for 6 job fairs across the country soon. The jobs range from software engineers to warehouse workers. They're full-time positions that pay at least $15 an hour plus benefits, and it goes up from there. Job fairs will start this month in cities like Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Seattle. Shoppers at Whole Foods may be able to pay for their groceries just by waving their hands. The New York Post says the Amazon-owned company is working on a scanning technology that will basically scan your hand and then link it to your Amazon account. So it'll automatically deduct the cost of your groceries from your account when you wave your hand. To be clear, this is different than a fingerprint scan like on iPhones. This would mean just a wave of your hand, so no touching the device. For now, reports say employees are testing it out on things like vending machines, but Amazon wants this to be inside Whole Foods stores by early next year. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. And a big shout out to the new Newsworthy insiders who signed up for the whole year. Thank you so much for your support. And I also appreciate the positive reviews you leave on Apple Podcasts and on social media. I love getting to hear from you. As always, you can read more about any of the news stories we talked about in this episode right in your podcast app, or check out the show notes on thenewsworthy.com/show notes. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning. I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.